Well, I'm neck deep into my project in the boat. Thought I'd give everybody an update. I posted pictures earlier in the project showing what we're planning on doing. I think I'm going to do a walkthrough quick and give you a perspective on just exactly how much I'm digging into this boat. 15 years owning it, haven't really done a lot of deep work on it other than when we first bought it, put some things on it. Pulled parts out of it I've never had out. Thinking about next steps when we get into it again, maybe in a year, expanding the project. But give you a quick walk around and let you know exactly what we're planning on doing here. Well, that is the inside of the boat for the most part. You'll see what it looks like in a minute here. I think one of the key things is this deck here. I had decking replaced last year. Those two pieces in the bottom there are brand new decking from last year. The ones kind of piled here are all original OEM, and the rest of this. This one here, though, is the one on the side of the boat where the fuel is, and you can see where it's all rotted out. It's actually disconnected here, right here. That's all broken off. It's rotting. We stand in this a lot casting, so it's just not strong enough for what we do today. So we're going to go forward. We're going to take and reconstruct this all out of a real heavy aluminum, and that's going to give it the strength we need long term. And I'm going to skin it with some carpeting instead of the vinyl that we have on here now. So we'll reuse the hatch. I think that's functional. We may expand it a little bit. I got some more hinge work or material I have that we could use that I can expand that down, make it a little more accessible and functional than what it was before. But that's getting changed out. The other side, which is this piece over here, I generally just have, you can see the bolt buckles on it, they're upside down, but there's bolt buckles on here. That generally stores rods and then some trolling equipment and other things on the inside there that I need access to less. Eventually, I plan on changing all of that out for aluminum decking. I just happen to have some leftover in my machine area that I can use. This same thing here, this will eventually be decking. This old platform I built years ago with my brother and cousin and put it together and put it into the boat to stand on as a casting platform in the back. And you can see that piece on the end there where the graph and all the units used to be. That's all going to be reconstructed out of aluminum tube framing, an aluminum skin within a carpet on top of it. Hopefully we get it built to the point where it's dry storage as well. I keep about 6 Plano tackle boxes in there, and it's pretty functional for that because then it gives me access at the back of the boat to be able to pull out baits when I need it without interrupting people where they're standing in the front deck. The rest of this is just going to go in as is, except this compartment here is the very front of the bow, and that's just a storage space that you can tuck stuff in there. Unfortunately, it's been bastardized over the years, and it is not waterproof, never has been. That's one complaint I have about the Lund Alaskan, is there's just no dry storage in this thing. So this is going to be reconstructed with a waterproof hatch, and then we're going to put in a shell on the inside that's going to provide waterproof storage in the bow of the boat. And then also, I'll talk when I get to the boat, another space, and I'm going to make dry storage as well for raincoats and whatnot. And this is obviously the bow. The other piece underneath it here, this is going to get put in, and then the batteries will go inside of that. I got 3 batteries, so I'm putting a different trolling motor on. And then the piece underneath that is actually what goes on the very, very bow of the boat, where the trolling motor and other stuff gets mounted. That's going to be as is for now, but it will get modified just slightly. The one thing I am going to do is this bottom board has a hole in it for another pedestal like that. And when they do that, they cut a hole clean through it. I'm going to patch that and cover that hole. We don't use that seat. It's just a trip hazard having this big thing sticking up in the middle of it, that when we're running up and down the boat with a fish or trying to net something, it just gets in the way. So a couple of things we're going to do with the wood there. I think overall it's going to stay pretty much the same. A few pieces changed out, and then the prospect long term is to get it all switched out to something that'll last for the rest of my life. All right, well, here's the boat. As you can see, decking's all missing. Spent a lot of time. The inside of this is, I don't think, ever seen the light of day since I've owned it anyhow, at least parts of it, other than when they redecked the interior. But they didn't do any cleaning, obviously. So I redid the whole thing with the pressure washer, got in there. I'm going to replace some of the foam. You can see that spot in the floor. Oh, there's a black hole right there. I can point it more specifically. That is where the pedestal was. This right here is where the pedestal goes for the seat. That's going to be just covered on the other end, and I'll fill that in with foam so it doesn't affect it. Ran some wiring a little differently. I know people be like critiquing my wiring skills. I'm not an electrician. I try to keep things away from metal, keep it out of the way where it won't rub. Seems pretty good. I'll probably do a couple little modifications here and there, and kept the bulb off the floor so we don't have anything clogging the drain holes. But all that's going to get redone. The interior is going to have a new charger, battery charger in here. I got a 4-bank charger. There'll be 3 batteries going in here. New lighting connections going in. I'm putting new LED lighting through the whole thing. The compartments are all going to have new lighting put in them as well, which they've never had. The back here is just basically the same. You can see where the wiring harnesses are all coming out here to run the controls. All new switch panel being custom built, and there'll be some new upgrades as far as just how the electronics are hooked up and run through fusing. So it'll be a lot more modern, a lot better than it was before. In this space here, right behind here, I used to have a standing platform right in this space here. That's where that wooden box was that you can see over there. That's now going to be approximately the same size. It's going to be made out of aluminum and much, much lighter. That thing over there weighs probably about 75 pounds. I'm going to create that out of aluminum framing with one of my fabricators here, and we're going to get that built out where it's much lighter. The other one is we're going to put in the front of the boat here, again, the same height as the one that's going to be back here, another storage space that's going to stick out a little less than the other one. You see where the rail is in the middle here. Let me see if I find my finger. This rail right here, it's going to stick out about that far, but it's going to be up here, and it's going to be as high as the outside platform here, or the storage compartment, and it's going to come out just a little bit about to that rail, and then come down just a little ways, maybe 18 to 20 inches, and then back in. That's just going to provide a little more stable spot. Again, made out of aluminum with aluminum skin, aluminum framing, and then that'll provide the person fishing the middle of the boat just a little more stable platform to work from. A lot of guys like to stand up and have a good perspective because you're pretty high up here. When you're bringing fish into the boat, you can see them well, you can work them well. I think that'll help. Down the road, as we rebuild the boat again, I think this upper deck here in the front is going to actually be modified a little bit. We may even take and kick out some of the storage on the side here and on the side over here down a little further and create larger storage lockers for rods and different things. The one problem with the one on this side is the fuel line runs right down the front there, so there's not a lot you can do, but there's still a fair amount of space there I can work with. Upgrade next year will probably be a new live well. I want to build a 60-inch live well in the front there with a better water jetting system. Not that I have a lot of opportunities to handle fish that big, but when you're on the water trolling on Green Bay or St. Clair and you got a big fish, it's nice to have that ability to put the fish in and arrest them before you release them. So probably going to work that out. Again, got a lot of platform to work with here. This boat's 20 feet long, so it's a big one. So all this in the front here is going to have the new navigation lights installed here, LEDs. I'll still keep the original light here. It's behind the back of the trolling motor now. I'm going to move it to the front. So we're going to redesign the front deck just a little bit, just to make it a little more user-friendly and functional. I have been pulled over because my trolling motor sits up so high on the front of the boat here that it actually blocks from certain angles the navigation light because my pole's only so high. I'm struggling to find a taller pole, so I'm just going to move it to the front of it. Not a big deal. And again, I'll have the supplemental lights here on the side to help out as well. They're not legal, but they look cool, and I think they'll give a little bit of functionality. And you can see the live well and all the stuff. Just cleaning up the wiring. Still got a lot of work to do there. It's a mess, but that'll be straightened out shortly. And then this storage space here is going to stay pretty much the same as it is right now. A little bit change. Oh, the other thing I'm going to do, I forgot to mention, I do use a YOLO pole for my GoPro when I'm filming fishing, muskie fishing obviously. Standing here on the corner, I'll have the camera on the corner hanging. I'll put a hole in this piece here, just like we have over here for the navigation light. I have another one coming that actually screws in, and then the pole will sit there and be able to have the camera facing down the water over my shoulder. I'll still wear the head camera, but then I'll have that on continuously as well for a little different perspective. So I think that'll be a nice addition to the boat and hopefully help enhance my video capabilities. And then here's the project platform. Here it all is. Holy crap, it's buried. There's an extra trolling motor in there. You're like, oh, that's a tiny trolling motor. That's for my boat here for the pond at the office. But you can see this is kind of my storage space here at my workstation. Camera or the fishing gear is all for the pond behind here that I got a lot of fish in. Lots of batteries. There's 5 batteries in there. 36 volt, 100-pound thrust. Trolling motor with a 70-inch shaft. There's the roll of carpeting, depth finder, battery trays, lots and lots of electrical components put in here. all kinds of shit. So it's going to be pretty cool. All new screws and hardware going into the decking. Going to change all that out. Been put in and out over the years. I'm going to clean that up, make that all fresh. So hopefully when it's all done. Also, I got a solder iron here. I've been soldering any joints that I have in the wiring anywhere through the process is all getting soldered as well. It's not just you know, the heat shrink. I've got the soldering heat shrink, plus I'm soldering other connections. So everything's going to be pretty solid here. I hopefully live, you know, another 20 years of this boat. It'll be good for the rest of its life, and mine too, probably. Also HGS 12, they're under here. HGS 12 lives down here buried underneath this. There's 2 of those buried under there. We're gonna have some custom work done around how all those are mounted in there, but I did buy the balls out, 2 of the balls out mounts for them, the extended long ones. One of them will be just for graphing, as far as doing the you know, looking at the charting, so it'll auto chart for me. And then the other ones are going to be, just going to be for sonar and graphing. So it'll be pretty cool. I think when it's all said and done, I'll do another video down the road again. I don't know if anybody gives a crap, but I'm just going to keep doing them just because I'll document what I'm doing each day on my own. It's kind of fun. Anyhow, stay tuned. More to come.